Hello everyone, this is Explorer. Today we will explore Colombia. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel before continuing our video about Colombia, which has the Pacific Ocean on one side and the Caribbean Sea on the other, surrounded by the Andes Mountains, the Amazon forests where many indigenous tribes live, and the magnificent nature, which is a mixture of European, African, and indigenous roots. Colombia is a country located in the middle of Latin America. The border neighbors of the country, which is surrounded by the Caribbean Sea in the north and the Pacific Ocean in the west, Panama, Venezuela, Brazil, Ecuador, and Peru. It has a strategic location as it is a connection point between Central and South America. With an area of 1,141,748 square kilometers, the country is the 24th largest country in the world. The country contains 10% of the Amazon rain rates. Rainforests cover about 33% of the entire country. Colombia is named after the discoverer of America, Christopher Columbus. It means the land of Columbus. Colombia was home to indigenous tribes such as the Inca Empire, Muisca, Tairona, Sinu. In the 16th century, the lands of Colombia, where the Spanish set foot, were colonized and ruled by the Spaniards for many years. With the occupation of Spain by the French, the American colonies declared their independence by starting a struggle for independence, and in 1821, a federation was established under the name of Great Colombia, comprising the territories of present-day Colombia, Ecuador, Panama, and Venezuela. Venezuela left the federation in 1829 and Ecuador in 1830. The Republic of Colombia was proclaimed in 1886. In 1903, Panama became an independent state from Colombia. A civil war broke out in Colombia in 1948 between Liberal Party and Conservative Party supporters when the Liberal Party leader was assassinated. The Communist Party and leftist organizations started to gain power during this civil war period, which is called the La Violencia period. As a result of conflicts between the government and the group, a group of Communist Party members formed the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, or FARC, a guerrilla organization. FARC has grown over the decades. As a result of the conflict that lasted for 52 years, approximately 220,000 people lost their lives. More than 6 million people had to leave their homes. The first negotiations for a ceasefire, which started to end this half-century of violence, were held on the Venezuelan-Colombian border. The violence almost ended with a bilateral ceasefire between the government and the FARC in July 2016. It is stated that the United Nations will have statues built at the UN headquarters in New York, the USA, in Havana, the capital of Cuba, and in a city in Colombia, with the weapons left by the FARC. The capital and most populous city of Colombia is Bogota with a population of 8 million. The population of the country is about 52 million people. It is the fourth most populous country in the Americas after the USA, Brazil, and Mexico. Whites and mestizos make up 86% of the population, blacks 10.6%, Indians 3.4%, and Roma 0.01%. Indigenous peoples were largely destroyed during Spanish rule. The current number of natives, who make up 3.4% of the population, is around 2 million and there are 101 tribes. 70 of these tribes live in the Amazon forests and continue their culture. 80 different languages are spoken in Colombia, the official language of which is Spanish. It is the second most populous country after Mexico among Spanish-speaking countries. The country, which is 70% Christian, mostly Catholic, is very religious. Colombia is the third largest economy in Latin America and the 38th largest in the world. 26.9% of the population lives below the poverty line. Colombia has experienced an economic decline in the last 10 years. The reason for this is the influx of refugees due to the decline in oil prices and the political and economic crisis of its neighbor Venezuela. About 1.7 million immigrants live in the country. While the annual per capita income was over $8,000 in 2010, it decreased to $6,600. In the 1990s, drugs were Colombia's biggest export revenue. According to the data the central bank relies on, in the 90s, 30% of the entire country's wealth was gained from the drug trade. Although the state has put an end to most of the big cartels, cartels still exist locally. And these cartels still continue to export drugs to the world. With the onset of economic problems, drug production continues to increase rapidly. It is thought that 1,228 tons of drugs were produced in Colombia in 2020 alone. Its value is approximately $80 billion. Petroleum and petroleum products are the country's largest official export item, with 35%. Colombian people are friendly, happy, and relaxed. It is an anthropocentric society. They love their country very much and express their pride in being Colombian. Colombians are very fond of their families. Most weekends are usually reserved for families. They love to have fun and dance. Salsa, a lively Latin dance, is very famous in the country. Loving to have fun, Colombia hosts the Barranquilla Carnival, the second largest carnival in the world after Rio. Carnival takes place in March. Also, Colombians are a fanatical football fan. Colombians met with tourist intensity in the 2000s, as the country was dangerous due to the events in the 80s and 90s and was on the list of countries that should not be visited. The bad events of the past are mostly behind and the country is mostly safe now. People treat tourists well. Pablo Escobar, whom most of us know again with the TV series Narcos, is the world-famous Colombian drug lord and the founder of the Medellin Cartel. Medellin Cartel, he had created large-scale drug networks in many regions, especially in the United States and South America. By the mid-1980s, Escobar's cartel was making $22 billion a year. Escobar became the seventh richest person in the world with his drug trade. Escobar, who rose to a monopoly position in the U.S. market during these years, was meeting 80% of the U.S.'s drug needs. Escobar, who also helped those in need, was nicknamed Robin Hood. It is even rumored that Escobar once burned $2 million because his daughter was cold. In addition to drug trafficking, Escobar, who clashed with the Colombian government, carried out bombing and armed actions against security units, public employees, and civilians. One of these attacks is on a plane in 1989 when Pablo Escobar's men planted a bomb and detonated it in midair because of the evidence an informant had against Escobar. The attack resulted in the deaths of around 100 people. Escobar is blamed for the deaths of at least 4,000 people. 25,000 people attended the funeral of Escobar, who was alleged to have been killed by the security forces on December 2, 1993. Pablo Escobar had built a private zoo in the garden of his luxury farm that housed hippopotamuses, giraffes, elephants, and other animals. After his death, animals other than hippos were dispersed to zoos across the country. Hippopotamuses of 1 male and 3 females, imported for Escobar's private zoo many years ago, have multiplied and are threatening the ecology of Colombia today. The largest hippo herd after Africa is planned to be neutered or culled. Cannabis, which is said to have medicinal benefits as a result of scientific research, is allowed in Colombia for health purposes and on the condition of growing 19 pots per person. Cannabis is used medically for ailments such as Crohn's disease, seizures, HIV, and nausea. Colombia is the #1 emerald exporter. Between 70% and 90% of the world's emeralds come from Colombia. Colombia is one of the places where the world's best quality and delicious coffee is grown. It ranks 3rd in the world in coffee production after Brazil and Vietnam. Colombia also ranks 2nd in flower exports. The United States alone orders 4 billion roses from Colombia each year. In addition, Colombia is home to more than 4,000 orchid species. The Cauca Valley at the foot of the Andes has the world's tallest palm trees. Among the lush green mountains, the wind-defying palm trees reach up to 60 meters in height. Colombia ranks second after Brazil in biodiversity in the world. It ranks first in bird diversity. Colombia has the colorfully colored Cano Cristales River, which is a natural lake. The river, which is painted in rainbow colors every year, sometimes flows in pink, green, yellow, and sometimes blue colors. According to a local legend, Cano Cristales means river of 5 colors. Although the ever-changing colors of the river are interpreted as supernatural forces, it is the result of a unique biological phenomenon. A type of algae, an endemic plant that covers the river, reflects on the river with the effect of sunlight and turns into colors such as purple, pink, yellow, and green. Scientists have unearthed a large assemblage of rocks estimated to have been made 12,600 years ago in the Amazon jungles of Colombia. Scientists announced that the cliffs with thousands of symbols contain important clues about the people living together with the giant animals of the Ice Age in the region. One of the greatest writers who ever lived is Colombian. Gabriel Garcia Marquez, nicknamed Gaba, started his career as a journalist and won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1982, which is one of the biggest awards that can be received, as well as hundreds of awards. Born in Colombia in 1927, the author died in Mexico in 2014. Colombia also boasts world-renowned musicians. Shakira and Juanes are two of the best-known musicians. Radio and television stations in Colombia are required to play the national anthem at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. every day. If we look at the places to visit, Cartagena, a fairy tale city with its colorful structure and architecture, protected by UNESCO, Medellin, which is a very safe cultural city today, although its name was known for drugs and security problems, Amazon forests with its untouched and mysterious world, famous beaches on the Caribbean and Pacific coasts are must-sees places. We have come to the end of our video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on the notification bell before closing the video. Adios.